If it's a day called today, we're talking guitars and life. Let's get into it.
Well, welcome back everybody to another exciting episode of TED Talks Guitars and Life. Well, my friends, you are looking at the guitar necks. Oh man, of the Super Twin guitars from Six Flag Incorporated, made in China, year still unknown. My friends, I don't know what I've done. I think I should have left well enough alone with these guitar necks. However, we're this far in, man, so we're going to stay in, if you feel what I'm saying. So, what I did since the last video, I did copacetically repair the holes in the Batman neck that we had because I broke count them, two drill bits in that headstock. Guys, I don't want to talk about it. All right. So I was going to throw the tuners on, but there's something about these guitar necks that I just wasn't feeling. And the thing that I wasn't feeling was the feel. Now, I did stain them. I did varnish them. I did put Howard feeding wax on them. And they were, I think I even said in one of the vids, man, it feels smooth. But the more they sit here, sticky is too strong a word, but they're just not as smooth and as gliding as I'd like them to be, Jack. So in this video, what we're going to do, hopefully, I'm going to get... Now, you never know at TED Talks Guitars and Life. Well, if you hang on the channel, you already knew that. Oh, by the way, if it's your first time, welcome, Jack. Come back anytime and hang out at TED Talks Guitars and Life, man. Hey, we got a live stream every Tuesday night at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. And lots of cool cats talking about guitars and life, man. You will not regret coming and hanging out with some very cool folks, and I don't mean me. So, guys, what we're going to do is we are going to attempt to resolve the silky smoothness that I'm looking for on the back of these guitar necks. And I'm going to do that before I install the tuners and the string trees, because it may be, guys, I'm saying, it may be that I'm going to end up sanding this and just spray painting these bad boys black. I don't know, man. This is black stain. I don't know if it's the stain. I don't know if it's the stain and the varnish. I don't know if it's the true oil. I don't know what it is. So right now, what I did, sort of a last ditch effort to save these guitar necks. And this is the Superman neck modified, and you can see as I have been applying and reapplying some stuff to this, that I'm losing some of that black finish. The Batman guitar neck, by contrast, is much more richer and blacker. So could I go for that? Yeah, I could go for that. That would be the opposite from I can't go for that, baby, which is copyright. Anyway, guys, so what I did is I put a coat of Minwax paste wax on here. So the first order of business, it's been about an hour since I did that. I'm going to buff that off, and I'm going to see if that even gets remotely in the ballpark of a soft feel. I've got my Howard feeding wax on standby in case we are successful. If that does not work, my intent is to sand these down a bit, take some 320 to it, something like that, tape up my fingerboard and my frets, and paint these guitar necks, baby. That's what I'm thinking. Well, guys, ain't nothing left to do but to do it, Jack. Hey, man, here's an idea, Cat. Why don't you run out to the kitchen, get yourself a Diet Coke and some popcorn or whatever you dig, man, and let's get back to the workbench. Come on, man, get up, get you some snacks. We got work to do, baby. Let's get into it. All right, guys, the moment of truth. Batman. All right, okay. That's my ring scratching. Not scratch. Well, it's scratching, yeah. See, why does it do that? It's like it's... it's better. Oh, okay. All right, Superman, I feel you, baby. Guys, that's not bad. But it's still... it's still grippy, man. You know? Look at that. It's still grippy. All right, well, I may go with the Minwax one more time. It's better. It's better than it was this morning by a long shot. Just the fact I can do that. I have to grip in order for it to really get sticky on me. Which, you know, when I play, I always put my thumb over. Yeah, man. Yeah, it's hard to say, bro. It really is. All right, let me quit jacking around. All right, I'm going to put one more coat of Minwax on here just to see if that'll help. And if it doesn't, then I'm going to be for getting some sandpaper out and doing a little and then we're going to tape up these boards and we're going to just spray paint these bad boys. I'm sick of playing around with this. I don't know, man. Maybe I should have just painted them in the beginning or left them alone, Jack. Put it in the comments, guys. All right, stand by. Well, guys, it's a long story. Perhaps one day I'll tell you. For right now, the short version is I did have to repaint the headstock on the Batman. So I've got some black on there. I've got a coat of clear coat on there. And anyway, just interjecting that in this vid that I did go back and repaint the headstock of the big bad bat. More painting. Yay! All right, my friends, the Superman neck is complete. Man, what a journey. What a ride. So the neck is still a little bit lighter than I'd like it to be, but I have acquired that silky smoothness that I was after, my friends. And I think the frets still look pretty good after all the wear and tear of throwing this thing around the workbench. And yeah, man, I put the black Safu tuners on it. These are non-locking. I've never used those before. I believe they're like 15 to 1. I did put the black Fender style rolling string trees on there, the retainers as it were. And we still got a little cracking on the headstock that I think looks pretty good. What do you think, guys? Put it in the comments. How does she look? All right. Well, that is the Superman neck. So I got to get back to the Batman. Maybe it would have been a good idea if I could turn back time. Oh, copyright. Yeah, guys, if I could turn back the clock, I would probably not have tackled both guitars at the same time. I think that was too much tomfoolery and a little bit too much to keep up with from time to time, Jack. But yeah, that's where we are. That's what we did. We'll go back to the bat because the bat does have to dry because I have been painting the headstock and whatnot and still working that out. So anyway, Superman's number one. So we'll do him first, Jack. More to come. You don't have to worry about that cool looking purple Stratocaster body. That's for a different project. And mind your business, Jack. Well, all right, my friends, before we get into the Superman electronics, just an update on the big bad bat. So I have put copacetic amounts of this Rust-Oleum paint and primer black satin as opposed to gloss finish, and I did put copacetic amounts of ultra cover matte clear instead of gloss clear, and I think the headstock is looking pretty good. So we need to let that dry. It's freshly painted. What I'm thinking, The adventure continues. No, 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 no. No. More to come. Well, all right, my friends, I got good news. The bat neck has been completed. Yeah, guys. Now it looks totally different than the Superman headstock. Used a different kind of paint, different kind of finish, all the things, man. This is actually that black matte. No, it's get it straight now. It's black satin Rust-Oleum, and it is that clear matte that I believe I showed in the previous portion of this video. But you may have gone to the kitchen to get a snack or walked down the hall, Brant, and missed it. So there you go, man. So guys, is that a gloss black? It is not. Does that black headstock match that black hardware copacetically? Well, my friends, it is not the same shade of black, but as I recall the Batman from back in my day, Jack, the bat suit was kind of this dark colored gray, and he had those black underoos on over top of it, you understand? And I think that looks like the Batman colors to me, Jack. I can live with that all day long and twice on Sundays. Now, is that the same color as the back of that neck? My friends, it is not. Can you tell from the 22nd row? I doubt you can. And who really cares? The Batman neck has been completed now. I got set back a little bit due to some work-related activities. So I've given that neck ample time to dry for a few days. I put the hardware on it offline. I didn't think you wanted to sit through all that, Jack. So now what we're going to do is we're not going to file down the nuts exactly in this video. These are black, in case you're curious, playing a home game. These are black Tusk nuts 504200, aka flat bottom nuts. Okay, because there's not much of a radius on these boards. Those are what do we say, 14-inch radius? I'm pretty sure we did. All right, guys, so what we're going to do in this video for the remainder here is we're going to put these nuts in those guitar necks. That's what we're going to do, man. Now, I do have a little bit of concern that those nuts are not going to be as tall maybe as I'd like them to be. They are the same height. Let me see if this one's the same thing. This one, yep, 504200. This is another black Tusk nut that I had on hand that I believe I had filed down a little bit. I don't think it's going to fit in there copacetically. Yeah, it's not. All right, guys. So, guys, a lot of you can do what I'm about to do with your eyes closed, your hands tied behind your back, and knee deep in a swimming pool, Jack. You can probably do this 100 times better than I can, but some guys may never have done this before. And so, for their sake and for your edification and enjoyment, if nothing else, you can get a good laugh at old Ted trying to do something on the channel. I'm going to walk through the process. So, with this kind of flat bottom nut, okay, we should be all right radius-wise. But the first thing that we're going to have to do is we're going to have to sand this nut down where it fits copacetically in the nut slots on the fingerboard. So I've got 400 grit sandpaper. Guys, feel free to put it in the comments, man. What grit sandpaper would you use if you were doing this? Alright guys, I say it in almost every video, say it with me now. Number 1, I'm not a luthier. Number 2, I'm not a professional. Number 3, this is one man's journey and nothing that I do is prescriptive for you. It's just descriptive of my particular brand of crazy when it comes to all things guitars in life. I do believe gloving up is good because we're going to get a little bit dirty here. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take our nut, we're going to take a piece of 400 grit sandpaper, and I'm going to move these necks just a little bit out of the way, maybe a little something like that. we're going to lay our sandpaper on the table. We're going to take the nut. We're going to lay it flat. One of the things that's important is that you try to hold the nut down as flat as possible, and that you just do, okay guys, take a little bit off at a time, okay? If you take too much off, it's not the end of the world. If you ruin it, you can buy another one. You know what these were? I don't know how much these were. 12 bucks, maybe, something like that. Who knows, man? You do your own research and find out how much stuff costs. But for me, I just want to say, man, what I'm going to attempt to do is go slow. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to rub it on the sandpaper like thusly, a little bit at a time. And again, I'm trying to exert the same amount of pressure all the way across that nut. I'm going to do something like that. Now what I do, guys, in my mind is I count, okay, how many times that was, all right? And then I'm going to stop and I'm going to try to slide it in that slot right there. And it's still not going. Okay, now on the Superman, you've got a little bit of a lip right there, sticking up just a little bit. I may get a razor blade and take that down. All right, so we're just going to keep doing a little bit more. And you can tell on my sanding that I'm not getting all of the nut. I'm just really getting the edges. So I need to do a better job. So let me try to really press better. You could do this with a file if you wanted to. I've certainly done that in the past. Okay. All right, so we're getting there, right? Now I'm really curious if that treble E is going to be high enough. Man, I hope so. So I'm not taking any bit off of the bottom. Okay, I'm not making this shorter. I'm just decreasing the width just a little bit. I'm just going to continue the process. I do a little bit on one side. I check my measurement. And then I do a little bit on the other side. Now it is possible if you sand it too much where it doesn't really sit well in there, you could copacetically put a little bit of glue in there, and we will, not now, but when we get the setup, what we're going to do is we're going to have to check all this, okay? I just thought I would do this part. I'd have the nuts in the necks. Worst case scenario, when it comes to our setup, we may, and I'm saying we may, and I'm trying not to force it too much, okay? But something just about like that right there, okay? Now that's almost a perfect width, that nut. Sometimes when you get nuts, they're going to be too wide, okay? So not only would you have to then sand either side of that nut to where it fits in the slot, but you might even have to sand a little bit off the edges. And if you've got a little bit sticking off your edges, you know, you could tape around the box that is the nut. Just take a file and that's the sound a file makes. All right. So the Superman neck has a black nut. Again, we won't know. Yeah, that's why it's an adventure. That's why it's a journey. We won't know if that nut's going to work until we get that guitar neck on a guitar body and we put some strings on it. I can kind of eyeball it, but eyeballing it only means so much. I just need to make sure that I've got a whisper of room between that string and that fret so I don't get the buzzalicious, okay? So we're making short work out of that. So if you were keeping score, I think I did a little bit about 3 times, okay? So depending on the nut width that you buy, you may have to do this only once. I don't know. You may have to do it 6 times. I don't know how many times you're going to have to do it. And here's the thing. Not every nut slot on a fingerboard is created equal, meaning they're not all the same width. So just because this one fit that guitar neck, I don't know that it'll fit this one. If that makes any sense at all. Now, part of what I'm sanded off here, there was a little bit of a imprint of the brand name and the model number. And that was sticking up just a little bit. So if you got a really tight slot, that could have prevented that nut from going in there. So now I'm doing the circular motion. I don't know why. Decided I'd do a little wax on, wax off. Daniel song, copyright. All right, we're getting close. Now I'm going to flip it over and do the other side a little bit. Now again, I don't care about cosmetics. So clearly you hang on the channel, you've seen my work. But yeah. So we're just doing a little bit at a time. And then we're going to try it again. See if we can just copacetically slide that in there. All right, that's pretty close. That's pretty close. Okay, now I'm sliding it as opposed to just trying to cram it in there. Why? Well, because it may be, my friends, that when we get our strings, when we get these necks on guitar bodies and we put strings on it, we may figure out, oh man, we need a different nut solution. So I'm not putting them in there for life right now. Okay, so I repeat, I am not gluing them in. Okay, nor am I getting a rubber mallet and do a little tap malicious on it. Not doing any of that. All I'm trying to do is get that nut in that nut slot. And then I will come back later during setup, like I said. Say setup one more time. Guys, I'm just trying to be perfectly clear. I wonder what all that goodness is. Apparently I had a little sticky stuff on my neck and that sawdust is getting on there. That's what NAFTA is for, cleaning up sticky stuff. Right, Mike? Shout out, Mike. Hey, man, hope you're doing well, bro. Love you, man. All right, guys. Well, man, our nuts have been installed on those guitar necks. And now I can say with some degree of certainty, we done with those guitar necks, Jack. We absolutely are. A little bit of highlight reel again for the bat. That's black satin and clear matte. For the Superman, that was black automotive paint, black gloss, not satin, and clear gloss, not clear matte. And I think you can probably tell the difference. All right. The other thing, the Superman neck did have some, I put some polish on those and shined it up. The bat, I like that kind of dark matte look, so I didn't put any like polish on it. I didn't try to get it to glisten is what I'm saying. Because again, I think that looks like the bat suit, and I think that looks like the utility belt and his skivvies. And yeah, man, I think that black nut, I think it matches pretty well. This one is hanging out the treble side just a smidge. Yeah, so I think I can work that a little bit. And if I needed to, now again, I'm going to wait till I get, say with me guys, we're going to put the necks on the bodies and then we're going to put the strings on before we do anything else, okay? But I need to make sure, because that's going to tell me where that nut needs to live, okay? Then and only then will I do any sanding to the side. This one could use a little bit of sanding. Can you tell how it's sticking over just a little bit? Whereas on this side it is not, okay? But I'm going to let the strings of the guitar be my straight edge. I need to make sure that the string alignment allows for these 6 guitar strings to align copacetically in the center of the magnets of the pickups. I also installed our rolling string trees, but I did not tighten those down like it was a rocket ship going to Mars, you understand? They're kind of loosey-goosey, and the reason that they're just a little loose is because, again, I want to get my string alignment. My string alignment will tell me where my nut needs to live. My string alignment will tell me if I need to turn those one way or another. All right, guys, man. Well, that is the Super Twin necks. Job complete. Again, the back of the necks, they're not glossy jet black or anything like that, but I did get them smooth. I'm very happy with that. The Superman is even a lighter, kind of a dark grayish look, and the headstock looks the same. It's just the front that's been painted. And I've got that copacetically smooth, man. Yeah, man. I think those necks look pretty good. I think those boards look pretty good. I think the frets look pretty good. I'm going to call this a win, Jack. I'm going to say that the Super Twin necks are now good to go. And there ain't nothing left to do now, man, but come back in the next vid, do some electronics, and start reassembling us some guitars. Guys, I can't thank y'all enough for hanging out with me in this crazy journey. Who knew that there'd be 3 different neck videos? If maybe there's 4. I didn't even count them. You shouldn't say stuff you don't know, you know what I'm saying? Then you shouldn't have a YouTube channel. Maybe I shouldn't, Joker. Oh, no, not the Joker. The Joker's over yonder. Anyway, guys, man, I do really appreciate you all hanging out. Special shout out to the Jacks. You know who you are, the members of the channel. And all of you who hang out with me for 1 minute of your life talking about guitars and life, know that I consider you a Jack. Jack. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this one. Man, you guys are the best.
Well, as always, wherever you are in your guitar journey, I pray it's a long, smooth, safe, joy-filled ride for you, Jack. Hey, rock on with your bad selves, everybody. Catch you down the road.